Alright everybody, I'm Logan Alec, I'm a CPA, and this is my update for Monday, December 7th. Not a whole lot of updates right now. We're still waiting for that bipartisan group of senators to release their actual bill for the $908 billion proposal, but I do kind of want to speculate in this video whether or not Nancy Pelosi will push for more stimulus checks in this thing, and I want to get your take on that as well. We're going to talk about that. Also in the COVID-19 update portion of this video, I'm going to talk about the COVID-19 Christmas bubbles the United Kingdom is rolling out. But before we begin all that, I want to mention that I have seen some YouTubers talking about $1,500 stimulus checks. Now, this is just an idea from an ex-congressman, okay, to give $1,500 stimulus checks to those who take the COVID-19 vaccine. This is not something that is even being discussed right now in DC. At least there have not been any indications that anyone is taking that proposal seriously at this point. So just know that. All right, on to the actual stimulus proposal that's hot right now. What we're looking for this week, well, there's two things actually. First, we're looking for the actual bill. All we have right now is the proposal, the chart the group showed us at their press conference, here and there comments from members of this bipartisan group. There is no bill yet. We haven't seen language yet. So we are looking for that bill this week. And after that bill is released, I think we will have a better sentiment of whether or not this thing will pass as is or almost as is, or whether there's still a lot of stuff to negotiate in this thing, particularly state and local liability protection, maybe even stimulus checks. So obviously the second thing I'm looking for this week is if someone like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer will come out and say, hey, time out, stimulus checks need to be in there. However, that could be a very bad move politically, because think about it. Let's say this bill gets drafted. It looks like it's going to pass both houses of Congress as is, but then let's say Nancy makes a big old stink about how there's no stimulus checks in there. That could kill the deal altogether, kill the momentum. Congress is out of time, then she'll look like even more of a stimulus villain, right? But what do you think? Do you think that Nancy Pelosi and or Schumer will push for another round of stimulus checks in the next round of COVID-19 relief legislation, or do you think they'll just go along for the ride right now? Because remember, Pelosi and Schumer submitted their own proposal to Mitch McConnell last Monday night, kind of secretive, but they backed down from that proposal after this new bipartisan proposal came out. To me, it's kind of looking like Pelosi and Schumer, even Mitch McConnell for that matter, are letting this bipartisan group drive the stimulus train right now. But what do you think? After this new bill gets drafted, will Pelosi and Schumer call for more stimulus checks to be included in it, or will they view that as too risky a move that could blow up any lame duck stimulus altogether? Let me know in the comments. So like I said, that bipartisan group of senators and their staff is continuing to work on language to put together an actual bill for this new proposal that they unveiled last Tuesday. And until we see the bill, we won't know a lot of details yet about exactly how the liability protection is going to work, about PUA, a lot of other things as well. But as I showed you in the clip yesterday, Senator Mark Warner said they hope to have a bill drafted early this week. I also showed you yesterday both Warner, a Democrat, and Bill Cassidy, a Republican, both of whom are architects of this new proposal, both stating that stimulus checks will not be in this new proposal. Cassidy said that stimulus checks may happen in a different piece of legislation. He gave no timeline on that, while Warner said that stimulus checks are for something for Joe Biden to grapple with in his administration. This, frankly, isn't a good sign, right? It's not like, oh, only the Republican guy was distancing himself from stimulus checks, while the Democrat was saying something like, well, you know, stimulus checks could be in there. We'll have to see. We're talking through that. No, both the Republican and the Democrat said no stimulus checks in this bill they're putting together. Like I said previously, Pelosi and Schumer did say in their statement that this proposal is a good starting point and that they and others will likely add improvements to it. Could one of those improvements be stimulus check? I don't know. Goes back to what I said earlier in this video. And on the Republican side for that, if another few $100 billion for stimulus checks is added to the bill, well, that could lose a lot of Republican support as well. But then again, they may gain some Democratic support in return. Look, if Congress had more time here, maybe if these discussions were being had, I don't know, as late as a month ago, we might be in a better position for stimulus checks. But as of right now, Congress just doesn't have the time to go back and forth on this for weeks. They're just running out of time. We do know that Congress must do something something by this Friday to keep the government funded. Complicating that is that both Pelosi and McConnell have now said that they want to merge stimulus with the government funding, so that doesn't leave a lot of time. There's not even a bill yet for the $908 billion proposal, and so to push that through along with government funding by this Friday, that's an incredibly tall order. So as I told you last week, some in Congress are saying, well, maybe the solution here is to do a mini continuing resolution, a mini CR, a 1-week stopgap measure, so to speak, just to keep the government funded for another week after December 11th, making the new deadline December 18th. And that would hopefully buy Congress enough time to get everything done: stimulus, the final omnibus government funding bills, and of course the defense authorization that Trump's kind of making a big stink about right now. All right, in terms of COVID-19, we had 173,457 cases yesterday with 1,111 deaths. Trump's personal lawyer and former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, who is 76 years old, tested positive for COVID-19. He has been admitted to Georgetown University Medical Center. In international COVID-19 news, the UK is doing something interesting in terms of restrictions this holiday season. They're saying that people can create a Christmas bubble with up to 3 households, because right now there are different social distancing guidelines in the UK based on the locality. Generally, you have to obey those guidelines within that locality. But what the UK is saying is, okay, y'all can create these Christmas bubbles of up to 3 households and go to each other's households between December 23rd and December 27th. They're saying during this time period, individuals can form an exclusive Christmas bubble composed of people from no more than 3 households. You can only be in one Christmas bubble. You cannot change your Christmas bubble. You can travel to meet your Christmas bubble, and you can only meet your Christmas bubble in private homes or in your garden. It's like your yard, places of worship, or public outdoor spaces. But other than this, you're not really allowed to go to other people's houses. UK is saying a fixed bubble is a sensible and proportionate way to balance the desire to spend time with others over the Christmas period while limiting the risk of spreading infection. They also note the risks of COVID-19 spread even within a bubble. So this is an interesting strategy. What do you think about this? Because right now where I live, in Los Angeles County, California, effective at 11:59 p.m. last night, we are now prohibited from holding private gatherings of any size. A ton of businesses are being shut down as well or at limited capacity. This is lasting for at least 3 weeks. That's past Christmas, so that really sucks. Speaking of the UK, the United Kingdom will begin coronavirus vaccinations tomorrow, Tuesday. Hopefully this week we will hear good news for the United States in terms of vaccine. The FDA Vaccines Committee will be meeting this Thursday to discuss emergency use authorization of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for the prevention of COVID-19 in individuals 16 years of age and older. Hopefully good news will come from that. All right, everybody, that is my update for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let's keep an eye out for that new bill, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.